This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Hannah Belinsky, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Wednesday, October 15th. Foreign interference confirmed in KMT chairmanship race, says National Security Bureau. IMF raises Taiwan's 2025 growth forecast to 3.7% in its latest report, and an opinion piece saying Taiwan should strengthen ties with EU to counter authoritarian threats. But first, today's top story. As the KMT's chairmanship race heats up, allegations of foreign interference have emerged. National Security Bureau Director General Tsai Ming-yen confirmed in an interview on Wednesday that they have found manipulated videos from mostly overseas accounts spreading misinformation about the election. The election will take place on Saturday and sees 6 candidates in fierce competition. KMT legislator Zhao Xiaokang recently held a press conference accusing Chinese cyber attackers of manipulating a large number of videos in an attempt to influence the outcome of the race. Tsai said that the NSB's preliminary investigations indeed uncovered upwards of 1,000 videos discussing the issue.
More than 200 videos were distributed by the same 23 YouTube accounts, more than half of which were based outside of Taiwan. We're not at liberty to name which candidate the videos favor at this time, however, as doing so may influence the election outcome.
Public concern has been growing about whether the CCP has been expanding its infiltration operations via hacking or otherwise meddling in Taiwanese elections. Tsai said government networks currently face as many as 2.8 million cyber attacks daily. A common tactic involves stealing data, rewriting it, and then disseminating it to mislead the public and undermine trust in the government. Tsai emphasized that the current National Security Act and Anti-Infiltration Act do not explicitly regulate foreign interference in internal party elections. The cabinet recently met to discuss whether to strengthen the law accordingly. He said the NSB has already provided its input from a security perspective. The International Monetary Fund has increased Taiwan's 2025 economic growth forecast to 3.7%, up from 2.9% previously, citing mild tariff effects and better global financial conditions. The update, released in the IMF's latest World Economic Outlook report on Tuesday, also slightly lowered the 2026 forecast to 2.1% from 2.5%. The IMF predicts Taiwan's consumer prices will rise 1.7% this year and 1.6% next year, while the unemployment rate is expected to stay steady at 3.4%. The report noted that easing trade tensions and stable financial markets have boosted global recovery prospects since April. Global GDP growth is now projected at 3.2% in 2025, up from July's 3% estimate, with 2026 growth expected at 3.1%. IMF Director of the Research Department Pierre-Olivier Gorinchaz said the global economy has benefited from lower tariffs, flexible business strategies, policy support in Europe and China, a weaker U.S. dollar, and increasing investment in artificial intelligence. The United States is forecasted to grow 2% next year, while the Eurozone and Japan will see modest increases to 1.2% and 1.1% respectively. China's growth outlook remains unchanged at 4.8% for 2025. The second German-Taiwanese dialogue platform was held in Taipei on October 8th, marking the first time the event has taken place in Taiwan. Speaking at the event, director of the German Institute Taipei, Carsten Tietz, expressed his belief that Taiwan and Germany not only share common values, but also both face the challenges of having an authoritarian neighbor. Deputy Foreign Minister Francois Wu echoed the sentiment and said he hoped the GTDP's establishment could strengthen security and societal resilience in Taiwan and the EU. Both countries face threats from authoritarian regimes like China and Russia, not just in terms of defense, but also economic security. In the past, Taiwan's economic ties with China, particularly under the Cross-Strait Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement, exaggerated opportunities in the Chinese market while ignoring risks. Free trade agreements like the ECFA, typically promoted by democratic countries to foster globalization, thus become co-opted by authoritarian governments for economic coercion. For EU countries, authoritarian states pose a threat not only to economic security but also to their energy supply. Statistics from the European Commission show that in 2024, 10 EU member states imported a total of 52 billion cubic meters of natural gas from Russia. 3 countries imported a combined 13 million tons of crude oil, and 6 countries imported more than 2,800 tons of enriched uranium, or uranium in fuel form, indicating a high dependence on Russian energy. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, they have a plan in place to ensure complete energy independence from Russia. According to trade statistics released by the Finance Ministry, total trade between Taiwan and Germany in 2024 totaled about $20.4 billion, making Germany Taiwan's 10th largest export market and 6th largest source of imports. Although the two countries have achieved bilateral trade of over $20 billion for 4 consecutive years since 2021, there is still considerable room for growth compared to Taiwan's trade volumes with the United States, Japan, and South Korea. Deepening cooperation and fostering a more robust economic environment would encourage mutual investment and partnerships between countries from both sides, creating a positive cycle in Taiwan-Germany economic relations and ultimately benefiting both nations. Taiwan Labor Minister Shen-han on Wednesday pledged expanded inspections and steeper fines for airlines after a 34-year-old EVA Air flight attendant reportedly died following illness during duty. Hung told lawmakers that the aviation sector's management culture is problematic, noting EVA Air has been fined more than any other carrier. Hung stated that flight attendants are protected by the Labor Standards Act but are subject to the flexible hour regulations outlined in Article 84-1. He emphasized that this does not exempt employers from the responsibility of safeguarding workers' health. Companies must approve sick leave and ensure adequate rest periods for night shifts or long hours. These are the legal minimums, and there is no room for compromise, he said. Since 2021, the Labor Ministry has conducted 238 inspections within the aviation sector, discovering a violation rate of 21% and imposing fines totaling 7.25 million NT dollars. EVA Air alone accounted for 3.52 million NT dollars of these fines. Lawmakers criticized the penalties as insufficient for a company that generates 15 billion NT dollars in annual revenue, arguing that 20,000 NT dollars per violation is pain-free. Hung said that labor inspections will be expanded and penalties will be increased.
First, we'll expand inspections and increase penalties. We'll immediately launch a special labor inspection project for the aviation industry. For violations involving excessive working hours, fines can be raised up to $44,000. We'll also include the protection of physical and mental health as a key focus in inspections. And of course, we'll need the Civil Aeronautics Administration to cooperate on this matter.
In Jiayi, chocolate factory visitors can enjoy a beautiful blend of foreign architecture combined with local culture.
A chocolate-themed tourist factory known as Otherworld Dream Castle has drawn thousands of visitors since opening in August in the Da Pume Precision Machinery Park in Jiayi County. With its towering golden spires and blue rooftops, the castle has earned the nickname Taiwan's Disney, prompting questions about whether it is linked to the U.S. entertainment giant. The company has clarified it has no connection to Disney. Otherworld said the castle was founded and designed by internationally recognized architect Mao Ronghai, who spent a decade personally planning every structural and sculptural detail with his design team. The creamy white walls and blue roof lines evoke images of a European-style fortress, drawing crowds of visitors daily who line up to take photos outside. Chairman Mao Dohan says the architect built the site out of nostalgia, hoping to preserve a piece of his childhood as the Da Pume area transformed into an industrial zone. Architect Mao previously participated in major projects such as Shanghai Disneyland, Yunlin's Jiangfusan Fancy World, and Kaohsiung's Ida World. The castle also incorporates local Jiayi symbolism, including 3 golden sculptures, rice, orchids, and plum blossoms, representing nearby Dalian and Meishan. The tall spires feature indigenous Zhou patterns from Alishan. The Dream Castle blends creative design with local culture, inviting visitors to shop and enjoy chocolate while celebrating community ties. Phil Leskowski for RTI News.
Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Hannah Belinsky. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.